Star Fox is officially back and hitting the Nintendo Switch 2 in June of this year. But one of the things that people are wondering, considering the graphical prowess of this game and how detailed it looks, definitely a massive step above any other previous Star Fox game, some people are wondering who exactly is developing this game. There's been theories about Retro Studios and maybe an internal team at Nintendo, or maybe it's something that's outsourced a little bit, but it does seem like John over from Nintendo World Report, who is big on Star Fox, knows a lot about the franchise, discussed a ton of stuff at length on the Nintendo World Report channel and all that. Please make sure you guys check it out. He knows everything when it comes to Star Fox. He's actually on the boat that it's not any of those, that it's going to be Next Level Games that's handling the Nintendo Switch 2 Star Fox remake of Star Fox 64. So I want to get into what he had to say, the evidence, and then my thoughts on all of this, because Star Fox is a game that I grew up with. I think that Star Fox is a phenomenal franchise, but it obviously needs something to kind of get it going here in the new age, and they're bringing back the best game of the whole franchise, but with a ton of new twists kind of put into it. So we're going to detail what is happening here, and of course a bit more when it comes to the totality of the impact for Star Fox on the Nintendo Switch 2. But before we continue, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 at 140,000 subscribers, or on September 1st, whichever comes first. Subscribe, like, comment. The winner will be chosen at random, and it's a worldwide giveaway. Thanks, peeps. So John R. over at Nintendo World Report had this to say on Twitter: seeing people starting to theorize more on who the Star Fox 2026 developer is. I've been in camp with Next Level Games for months. Their last game was in 2022. They generally put out a game every 3 years. Their only work since was a small team assisting on Metroid Prime 4. They're overdue. So he shows one screenshot here, and it says Next Level Games is a game development studio based in Vancouver, Canada. Now, back on January 5th, 2021, Nintendo announced the acquisition of the company. Now, they've been credited on 17 games from 2003 to 2025. As you can see here, you've got Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, Mario Strikers Battle League, Luigi's Mansion 3, Metroid Prime Federation Force, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. They're kind of like an unofficial second party for Nintendo until Nintendo acquired them as a wholly owned subsidiary first party development studio. Let's get into what else John has to say about this. Next Level Games is known for technical excellence and extremely high quality character animation and cutscene direction, both things that are being specifically highlighted by marketing for Star Fox 2026. And he shows off these beautiful screenshots for Luigi's Mansion 3, which, yes, it's very nice. One of the things that's really stand out about Luigi's Mansion 3 is the lighting and the atmospheric like texture and shading and things. So yeah, that definitely lines up with what Next Level Games can do. They show off more of Mario Strikers Battle League, although not everybody loves the game and it didn't review the best. The graphics in the game are actually really nice, especially the detail in the characters, and then shows off some kind of comparisons. Maybe it kind of looks like potentially their type of work that they would do based off of Luigi's Mansion and Mario Strikers Battle League. And then on the last tweet here, he ends with this: as has been highlighted by various publications, including Game Explain and Nintendo Wire, the G diffuser references the UPC for the Nintendo Power Player's Guide for Star Fox 64. Nintendo Power is a North American publication, implying a North American developer. Guess where Next Level Games is? So of course they're in North America, they're in Canada, like he talked about there. So there is a lot to unpack with this. Now, I think that Next Level Games is a great pick, not only because of all the stuff that John R. had to say here, but because they rebooted a franchise before to great success. They did the exact same thing before about a decade and a half ago, actually a little bit over a decade and a half ago, with Punch-Out! On the Nintendo Wii.
Now, luckily, Punch-Out! Is back for the Wii.
They took the original NES game and they brought it to a modern system at the time, the Nintendo Wii, and added a bunch of new content, mixed things up, and changed up the game. But it was essentially a reimagining make thingy of the original Punch-Out! from the NES with, once again, added a bunch of content, replay value, other things, big graphical overhaul. So they've done this before. They were literally doing the same exact thing a decade and a half ago plus. So it looks like they could be doing the exact same thing with Star Fox here, with Star Fox on the Nintendo Switch, and using Star Fox 64 as what they're remaking / imagining thingy. So it could be the exact same thing. They have that experience. They've done it before with a different franchise, and all the different stuff here that John R. highlighted makes it seem potentially like Next Level Games is absolutely the developers behind this. Now, some people have stated, well, wait a minute. If they're working on this, what does it mean for Luigi's Mansion 4? And I think that Next Level Games, based off of this team size and based off of them being wholly owned by Nintendo and them getting a lot more funding considering how well Luigi's Mansion is done, I think they actually have the capability to be working on Luigi's Mansion 4 and to bang out a Star Fox 64 remake pretty much coinciding with each other. This was probably the priority to get Star Fox done within the first year of the Nintendo Switch 2, and Luigi's Mansion 4 is probably going to be a game that comes out within the first 2 to 3 years of the Nintendo Switch 2. Very similar to the Nintendo Switch 1, where Luigi's Mansion 3, I think that came out in 2019, so about 2 years plus after the Nintendo Switch 2 came out. So I do think that they're doing the same thing here. They've got one team that's been toiling away on Luigi's Mansion 4, making sure that's going to be great because we know that's going to be a big system seller and a big selling game. And then they had another team that's working on Star Fox along with Nintendo in Japan. So I do think that it's something that it's a possibility. It's not 100%. We have to wait and see who's actually doing it. Obviously, Nintendo hasn't said anything yet, but we're just hypothetically speaking, if they were the developers, this is how they'd get both of them done between Luigi's Mansion 4 and Star Fox for the Nintendo Switch 2. So there's a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. If you missed some of my previous videos discussing Star Fox and the potential, why this is important. Right now, Star Fox blazing it up on Amazon here in the US and even in Japan a little bit, where Star Fox isn't quite as popular, but I think that this is the opportunity that Star Fox needs. It needed something along the lines of this that wasn't going to be an add-on or something that we've seen before with the look of the game. Sure, people were a little bit, I would say, surprised with how realistic, furry looking that it was, and some people felt that it should have went in a different direction, but everyone's been talking about Star Fox, and you bring it with its own unique style and its own identity that doesn't borrow from anything before. The whole tone and style of the franchise with the best game in the franchise and saying Star Fox is about this. This is the look, this is the ideal, this is what you can expect from Star Fox going forward. It's going to be highly detailed, it's going to push the graphical capabilities of the system, and that's what Star Fox was. Star Fox on the original Super Nintendo, they used the puppets, they used a lot of stuff that kind of put you in a realistic, futuristic type of vibe. That was the feel of Star Fox. It wasn't an anime style with Command and Star Fox Zero. That wasn't what Star Fox was at the beginning. Nintendo pivoted away from more powerful hardware. I think that's when the pivot with the art styles also kind of coincided with each other. Star Fox 64, even the original creator of the character design said when he was thinking about Star Fox 64, the graphics that we see at this point are exactly what we're seeing with Star Fox on the Switch 2. So that was supposed to be the vibe. The original Star Fox and Star Fox 64 were that realistic vibe of what they were going for. So they have a system with the Nintendo Switch 2 that can pull it off. A system that is more powerful on the PlayStation 4 and can actually beat out the Xbox Series S in some ways graphically. And for a hybrid system to be able to do that anywhere that you want on a fraction of the wattage that it takes for other high-end system, that it takes for the high-end systems out there, it's a technical marvel when it comes to what they're going to be doing going forward with Star Fox, this franchise, and the look of it. Now let's talk about the direction of what they're going to do, because Star Fox, I don't think it's going to stop right here. I don't think it's going to be, all right, release Star Fox 64 remake or Star Fox on the Switch 2, and that's that. And then the next game is going to look like, I don't know, like a super stylized Mario movie anime type of thing. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think that they are setting this up to completely reboot things and then go forward in a different direction. I would not be surprised, and don't be surprised, if we get another Star Fox game in the next 2-3 years or so, it's a brand new game and they go in a different direction when it comes to story and stuff that happens compared to Star Fox Command, compared to Star Fox Assault, all the stuff that they've done after Star Fox 64. I think they're going to go in a completely different direction. I think things are going to be changed up. This could be a complete reboot when it comes to what has happened, or even retconning some things that have already happened with the next entry in the series. So do not be surprised if Star Fox goes in a surprising direction story-wise and what happens with the next game in this series after this, because I think they want a clean reboot of it. I like the emphasis on James and having that prologue. They're setting up a more cinematic style of Star Fox to be told, the storytelling, so you can know the characters, kind of connect with them, feel what's going on. A lot of the stuff that they showed from the Great Fox, or when they're in there and they're hanging out, Falco and Star Fox, they are playing like a virtual chess game. These are the type of things that are going to be very different, that sets the tone that we never really got when it comes to Star Fox before. I mean, there was some stuff that they tried to do, but at the end, it was really just kind of you out in the field. So I love the fact that this cinematic presentation is being presented in order to give us a bit more of a visceral feel with the characters and what's happening in this universe. A real serious type of feel when it comes to the characters and what's happening, real life or death battle with a lot of the stuff that's happening and what's going on in the whole Lilat universe. So to me, it makes complete sense. As someone who's been playing Star Fox for decades now, and I was there at the very beginning. I got Star Fox pretty much day one on the Super Nintendo, and it was absolutely incredible. It blew my mind with what they were doing with the FX chip and the graphics and the realism and how they're trying to put you in the pilot's seat as these space animals, and they all have their own personalities. Falco, definitely more a bit brash, Slippy, kind of weird and silly, but good heart, peppy, the hardened veteran that has been around for a hot minute. And then Star Fox, the ace, leader of the team. So all of that to me is going to be amplified and made even better in greater detail with Star Fox on the Nintendo Switch 2. So I'm excited for that. And I think that this game, as people talk about what's going to happen with it, will it sell well or not? You look at the best-selling Star Fox games, obviously Star Fox 64 with over 4 million, and then Star Fox on the Super Nintendo with about 3 million. That is pretty much the target I think Nintendo would want to go for with this Star Fox game. It's positioned very well. With the $50 price tag, that's physical and digital, shoutouts to Amazon and Walmart, they are matching Nintendo's digital pricing of $50. And I think that when the game goes live for preload, it's going to shoot up to #1 on there. I think that this game could be right up there with the Super Nintendo game and the Nintendo 64 game with sales, because the price is very good and appealing. You're bringing a completely different graphical style that I think that can attract new people, and it's Star Fox 64 that looks bigger and better than ever, plus a bunch of new stuff, online multiplayer mode, in addition to a host of extras with the campaign and other stuff that you can do for replay value. So to me, this puts together a really nice package that I think is going to do really well. I'm guessing somewhere between 2 million or 4 million units plus, and Nintendo would probably consider that a big success bringing back Star Fox, considering the last 3 Star Fox games have not hit anywhere near 2 million units. The last couple Star Fox games have been outright, I would say, failures between Command and Star Fox Zero. The sales just weren't there at all, so I'm expecting that this one's going to be considerably better. But what do you guys think when it comes to Star Fox and what is happening here, who the developer potentially is with Next Level Games, and what do you guys think about the direction and what they're going to do going forward in the future? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and Star Fox content right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.